The Protectors of the Wood Adventure Series, episode number 209. Big changes come to Abby. Abby played the song a few times and began to feel that she could face the future. The job and the children were lost to her, and nothing could be done. She would go to the preschool tomorrow. The journalists would make a big deal of her interview with Sarah, and she would be fired. Probably in a nice way, but there was no hope. But she, Abby, would go on. She had eaten nothing all day. That morning, as Allison drove the van to the garden center, Abby had dreamed of going to Sammy's for dinner and spending some of her $100. She wanted to celebrate her job and her freedom from the stalkers. But now she didn't dare leave the churchyard.
I have nothing to celebrate. Every step outside my domain could bring me closer to danger. So, with luck, I might keep my job for the rest of the week. So I'll pick some vegetables from the garden again. The whole idea was to make a garden for the community to enjoy as a part of the festivals we planned. But that clearly is not going to happen. The band seems to have moved to Evansville. Tuck is laying low while the investigation into the election continues. And the Church Youth Council has become the Junior Protectors of the Wood. That change actually seems to be good. And I'm looking forward to the coming weekend. Juvia, Phoebe, Isaiah, Sarah, Ishmael, Callie, Sule, Nico, Shannon, and more. We're quite a group now. But what about George? He's in Evansville too, probably with Sarah. When we see each other again, what can I say? Maybe I'll apologize. But for what? Hugging Jeremy? I don't feel like apologizing, but I feel terrible about how things turned out. It was horrible the way Peabody and that Middletown Standard crew tricked him. I warned George to quit, but my heart wasn't in it. He was helping us so much by spying, I let it go on. And I admire him for it. He helped us all. I'll tell him that if I can find a way. Okay, let's see. We've got eggplant, potato squash, baby kale, lemon cukes, turnips, and even a few apples from the ancient trees. And this weekend, I have a real treat. I take a trip with Juvia by boat. Oh, I can't wait. And look at this fabulous stew. I won't starve, at least. And I know the mapstick is safe. I feel it in my heart.
Abby was up early and riding to work by 8 a.m. The streets were calm. No one bothered her. When she knocked, Rob opened the door and smiled.
I'm so happy you're here early. I'd like to mention a few things before the others arrive. First, I'm afraid Rose is not feeling well and will not be able to work today. In fact, she's been ill for a few days and has gone to her aunt's house to rest. Tom Winkle will work as a parent volunteer. He's done that before. Lucy will stay for the whole day, and things should work out for everyone.
I'm so sorry Rose is not well.
It happens to everyone at one time or another. But let me quickly go over a few things before the children arrive. First, we owe you at least $20 for the plants you brought yesterday. It's a great idea and has been a big help already.
Abby clapped her hands and then felt embarrassed by her own happiness.
I really appreciate it. But Allison gave them for free.
The thought flashed through her mind to ask Rob about the publicity issue, but it seemed like too sensitive a subject to touch.
Please thank Allison for us. But I insist you take the money. You've been doing so much for nothing. It's on my conscience, and we do need you here.
Abby gave him a warm smile.
I hardly know what to say. Thank you so much.
Okay then. Here's the plan for the morning. I was just making a picnic lunch when you arrived. We're taking a little walk today. Tom will guide us to the baby trees we're looking for. Peanut butter and jelly, lemon cukes, and apple should be enough. Come, let's finish up.
The morning went along beautifully. Tom led them through the backyard and along the apple orchard to the tall maple trees near High Street. The children were glad to be outside and very curious about the idea of transplanting baby trees. Tom brought a wheelbarrow full of pots and 3 hand trowels. The children begged for rides, but Rob said no. He insisted that this was a serious quest for real trees, not a game. The land rose to a small hill as they walked along, and soon a view of the wetland, the forest, and the cliffs opened up in the clear air. Along High Street, enormous old maple trees lined the road, set back about 20 yards, shading a wide area. Tom asked the group to sit as he explained the activity.
We'll have 3 groups, each with a grown-up and 2 children. And we'll scout around for very small trees. We can see a few already. Each child will receive 1 of these pots. Let me pass one around.
Oh, can I have this one?
Oh, can I have this one?
Hey, I want
Can
that
I have
one.
2?
No,
Hey,
me.
I want that one.
Now, everyone sit back. No one can have one yet. But when you found a tree of the right size, very small, the adults will use the hand trowel and loosen the soil a few inches from the tree, pushing the trowel into the earth about 6 or 8 inches. Then each child will grip the ball of earthen root and lift it gently out the pot.
The activity went very quickly. All the children were delighted to hold their own tree. Tom, Rob, and Abby also found trees, so the group had 10 altogether. They sat in the shade and ate lunch. The view of the river was beautiful. Later on, they watered the trees and placed them in the sunlight near the south window. They planned to move the whole city across the room to join the trees and the new plants rooting in the wet soil. Abby was delighted and very happy as she rode her bike back downhill to the church. But as she began to get a view of the churchyard gate, she was shocked to see Officer Harley blocking entry to a group of reporters standing with cameras and sound equipment. Sule, Nico, and Phoebe stood nearby. Abby was almost to the sidewalk when people recognized her. Microphones and reporters immediately surrounded her. Questions came at her in a flood, interrupting each other.
Will you be giving the sermon in church tomorrow?
have the Bishop and Reverend Tuck approved the views expressed in your interview?
Will you be granting more interviews? Why have you chosen the Evansville Record and journalist Sarah Williams as your only contact in the media world?
Can you respond to simple and normal questions?
Abby kept her mouth shut, but suddenly had an idea.
Sarah is not my only contact. Let me introduce Sule and Nico. As you'll notice, they've been taking photos as we stand here, and they may publish them in tomorrow's news. So, I suggest that we all treat each other with respect, since the public will see how we behave. I hope you haven't been giving Officer Hardley here a difficult time.
Well, okay so far.
Hey, do you mean these kids? Did they take the video in the hailstorm? I'll interview them.
Abby put her finger across her lips, and Sule and Nico were silent, still taking pictures. Soon everyone was taking pictures of everyone else. Abby took advantage of the extra space to bring her bike up to the gate. Nico opened it and Abby slipped through. 2 reporters tried to follow, but Officer Harley stood in the way. Abby requested that Sule, Phoebe, and Nico be allowed to follow her, and he let them pass.
Can I ask one question? I'm not your enemy, you know.
There was something in his voice that Abby found irresistible, and she turned back to listen.
I'm Barry Lipton, and this is Zoe Collins. We're from the River City News.
Sun at my shoulder, no use to pretend anymore. How the seasons go, out on the edge of my dream I will go. My own name to know. To have circles moving through you. This year I'll say I do. Feel the cat's fur stand up on it. Trillions of living things are everywhere around. Our lives are all planted deep into the sacred ground. There's everything to love and everything to fear
It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. It's planet Earth in the universe and nature lives here. And nature lives here.